to our public meeting for February 19th. We are resuming at 9:40, and we had a good short discussion, and I think we all received a lot of clarification. And I'll turn to Councillor Peterson.
Oh, sorry, Your Worship.
Oh, I won't
Councillor
turn to you.
Montgomery made the motion already.
Sorry.
We have a motion on the floor.
Yes, we do have a motion on the floor. Is there discussion or further discussion on the motion that's on the floor? Then, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And the motion is carried. Thank you, Mark. We move now to item 10, bylaws. 10.1 Municipal Policing Committee Bylaw number 25-05, which is on page 32.
Hello again, Your Worship and Council. So I'm here to speak about the bylaw number 25-05, which is the Municipal Policing Committee. As Council recalls, I presented this draft bylaw to Council last week at the Committee of the Whole. We received some feedback from Council to make some minor revisions to add a specific section 3.2 to speak about that there will be an annual report back to Council. 3.2 is speaks about that the community safety plan will be approved by Council on an annual basis, and that there's a change to 9.7 to talk about how there will be annual reports and quarterly minutes circulated to Council. So if there's any questions about this bylaw, I'm prepared to answer any as best I can.
Thank you, Mark. Councillor Montgomery.
Just a motion, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Montgomery.
I will move the council give first reading to bylaw number 25-05 being the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw.
Wow. All in favor? I could never do that.
I will move the council give second reading to bylaw number 25-05 being the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw.
Thank you. Now that we have a motion for second reading, is there discussion or comments on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Deputy Mayor Wiley? Oh, you did have a comment?
No,
Sorry.
that's all right.
Oh,
I can make my comment. I can make my comment now.
Sure.
Just, I think this is going to be a really good thing for all communities. I'm just particularly pleased with it. It basically gives residents and council a chance to better liaison with the RCMP. And so I'm very pleased with this. And I would like to move that council give unanimous consent to third and final reading to bylaw 2505, being the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw.
Thank you. All in favor? And that motion is carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Montgomery? One more motion. Councillor Langmaid?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to move that council give third reading to bylaw number 25-05 being the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw.
Thank you. All in favor? And that motion is carried. And do we need that motion to extend the meeting now? We can get it. Okay, well, okay. Councillor Montgomery?
I will move the council give first reading to bylaw number 24-23 being a bylaw to amend land use bylaw number 14-11, and that council direct administration to schedule a public hearing for bylaw number 24-23 on March 19th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you. And for the public at home, if you're confused, this is a motion for first reading. It allows this administration to schedule a public hearing to discuss the bylaw and have all sides presented and for people to be heard. So we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? And that motion is carried. We move now to...
Just,
sorry?
did administration have a report for item 10.4 before we move it?
I did, Your Worship, if council wants it. It's just very brief for 10.2 and 10.4.
Yes, I think so. If you want to do your short presentation. We
Sure.
all and just again, so the public at home know, we all have this in our agendas. So we've all looked through it and we are prepared. This is just for the public at home if they would like to see what we're going on, or what is going on, sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
So thanks, Council, Your Worship. The first presentation, 10.2, is regarding Land Use Bylaw 24-23. It's on page 23 of your agenda package. Staff have received an application for a childcare service at 417 80B Archie Kleiber Trail. The legal land address is Block 31, 7260 JK, and Block 6, 941 1772. Staff recommend that council give first reading and schedule a public hearing for March 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck, and thank you for recovering and making us look good. So we move now to 10.4, and you'll be speaking to that again, Chuck?
Yes, thank you, council. So this is bylaw 25-04 on page 108 of your agenda package. Thank you for seeing me tonight, council. We've received another application for land use bylaw amendment. This one's for Lakewood Phase 2B. The legal land description is portion of Northwest 2225 or 2425 west of the 4th Meridian. And staff recommend that council give first reading to this bylaw and schedule a public hearing for March 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Councillor Montgomery, followed by Deputy Mayor Wiley.
Did you want to do it?
Sure, I have a question though.
Councillor or Deputy Mayor Wiley.
So with this one, please correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that the variance that they're requesting is something that's already going to be just sort of standard with our best practices moving forward anyway?
That's a good question, Councillor Wiley.
So I'm referring specifically to, I hope I don't get the numbers wrong here, but I think they were asking for it to go from like a 1.5 meter setback to a 1.3. And then I thought I read in the report that that is going to be within what we'll be asking for in future land use bylaws anyway.
You know, I think we still have some work to do on the land use bylaw and that kind of engagement with council, whether we support that as a general amendment. But right now in the Lakewood community, there's been a few amendments that have passed that do support that 1.2 meters. Without council support, they would have to go to 1.5 meters.
And it's our administration's recommendation that that is something that's reasonable within this Lakewood development.
Right, and we're at first reading. We still have the public engagement to do, Councillor Wiley.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Montgomery.
Thank you. I will move the council give first reading to bylaw number 25-04, being a bylaw to amend land use bylaw number 14-11, and that council direct administration to schedule a public hearing for bylaw number 25-04 on March 19th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in council chambers to commence following the previous public hearing's conclusion.
Thank you. You've all heard the motion that's on the floor. All in favor? And that motion is carried. We move now to 11.1, and I don't want you folks to be frightened, but Deputy Mayor, could I turn the chair over to you briefly? I don't want anyone to be worried. Yes. So, thank you. Section 31.4 of the procedure bylaw states that councillors may, 31.4, sorry, councillors may make a motion to direct administration to review a matter during the councillor information and inquiry section of the agenda. So I would move, and if I could speak to it, Your Worship, I would move that council direct administration to review garage and garden suites in the town of Strathmore and bring a report for council's consideration to the March 12th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting, specifically related to repealing bylaw 24-14. And my comments are, in 2021, I was a huge proponent for the town to start looking at garage and garden suites as a potential solution compatible with both our community and the limited growth we had been seeing for a number of years. And we were still experiencing housing challenges. This is one of the largest issues that I've received the most comments from the public. And so I've been trying to listen and hear what they're saying. A lot has changed. We've had these improved in 2024, and at that time, our housing options were still seen to be an appropriate solution for our community's circumstances. Sorry, these garage suite and garden suite options were seen to be an appropriate solution. However, a lot has changed in the past year. The economy has been improving. Different housing programs have been launched, such as CMHC mortgage incentives for affordable housing. And at this point, we've seen signs of potentially unprecedented growth. We also have a lot of developer and builder activity for all types of housing. In fact, we currently have 4 different multi-unit projects in different stages of development. So my thought is that with all these developments on the horizon, garden and garage suites may not be the right product for housing issues in the community at this time, since there is a significant response by the private sector to address our housing challenges. So my motion is just to direct administration to come back with a report. I do believe we need to grow and continue to be a financial sustainable community in the future. Our community needs to growth. Our community needs to accept growth, but we do have far more housing options than we did back in 2021 when I first championed this. Thank you.
Councillor Montgomery?
Oh, thank you. So I certainly support collecting some information. What would you hope or expect the report would kind of highlight or contain?
Well, that's a really good question. I guess I would like to see how administration feels with the number of multi-unit housing projects coming on. If this initial idea that I had kind of pushed for way back in 2021 and we passed in 24, if there's truly a need, and if perhaps this idea of the garden suites and garages has come a little too soon for a town like Strathmore. We know we want to be careful about our density limits and our density numbers, but that could be satisfied with all the multi-units that are coming on. So I guess I'd be looking for information as to potential new multi-unit projects that are coming on stream and how it could impact the concept of whether there is a need. And some of the comments that have come to me via email and Facebook messages are the concerns, and I've really tried to hear both sides, the concerns that people have in their subdivisions, in their cul-de-sacs, in their areas where they've been living. So maybe that could also be part of a report. I hope that helps.
Yep, thank you very much.
I would certainly like to revisit this issue. I'm concerned maybe our administration doesn't have enough information about what would be in this report, though. So may I ask administration if they have enough direction with the motion as it stands, or does it need some more clarification?
No, I think we have what we need with the mayor's comments that he's made there and that. So, I mean, as I understand, it's coming back to a committee of the whole, which is a discussion of it anyways, right? So that's meant to be more informal and hash things out on as we go. So anything that we may not have covered that the mayor is looking for, or any questions that we have or clarifications we have, we could ask at that time.
Okay, excellent. Councillor Mitzner?
My concern is, I think we're going backwards. The purpose of the task was for revitalization of the downtown core, to keep seniors and give people the opportunity to stay in their homes and create income-generating properties. So I don't think it's relevant to the number of new construction units coming on the market. Thank you.
And if I could speak to that, Your Worship? Yeah, all that ties into my initial, I was one of the ones who first pushed this concept, and I did see potential benefits in the downtown core and with older people who are living in homes. But there's also the worry that investors could come in, scoop up properties, and then have a lot of rental properties in backyards for people who've been living in their areas for a long time. That's one of the worries I had. And then the other worry I had was, again, tied to the fact that we're having a lot of options. We're having residential, duplexes, multi-units that are going to be coming. Our town is going to have a lot of options. The inventory is going to increase by a great deal, more than I think we're going to have seen in at least 25, 26 years. So I'm just not sure there's also a need for that now, and I'm also concerned and have been listening to some of the residents who've come to me. My motion is only to bring a report for us, and then we can discuss that as far as where we go from there. So it's to come to the committee of the whole on March 12th. Thank you.
Ultimately, I think we did our due diligence ahead of time. I had talked to a number of residents leading up to the motion, and at that time, everybody I talked to was like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Maybe I'll put in a backyard suite." And it seemed like, the day that it was going to go forward, all of a sudden, every single person I talked to just changed their mind. I shouldn't say it was the same people who changed their mind. It's just the tone completely shifted. And so I would certainly like to revisit it and have a discussion during a committee of the whole.
And if I could, Your Worship, I think as it became much closer to reality, the reality and potential drawbacks hit people in a town like Strathmore. I've seen this done in Canmore, and I've seen it done in Vancouver, but we're not as landlocked as Canmore, and we're definitely not a Vancouver. So this could be a great idea, but not necessarily for Strathmore at this time with the housing that's about to hit us.
So if there's no more comments, there's a.
Sorry, could I add one
Go
more,
ahead,
Your
please.
Worship? I know this has been a lot of work for our administration and our planning department, so I apologize to the people who worked hard that you may feel that all your hard work is being reversed or has the potential to be reversed on you. But I do appreciate all of your work, and I apologize if you feel that I've kind of abandoned the project I helped to champion. But I feel that things have definitely changed in the last year and a half here in Strathmore, so thank you.
So there's a motion on the floor, and does anyone need it repeated, or are we good? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? All opposed? And do I have to give up my power because I kind of like it? Is there any other questions between councilors and council statements? Oh, if for real, then I'm going to hand it back to Mayor Fuel.
Thank you. Councillor Langmaid?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to take a quick moment to recognize an outstanding Strathmore citizen and thank them for their service to our community. Ruth McCluskey has tendered her resignation from the Strathmore Library Board after 18 years of service to the Strathmore Library. She has been an incredible asset to our municipal library and served in the Finance Committee and as well as a strong fundraiser. And I just want to take a moment to recognize someone who spent 18 years of their life dedicated to this community, and not only to the library, she's also been an active member of the Ag Society for, I'm not entirely sure how many years, but it's probably the same or more. Yeah, so I want to take that moment to just really thank Ruth for her service to the community and let her know that she will be greatly missed on the library board.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, and I had the pleasure of working with her as well in my first couple of terms with her on the library board. Wonderful person and a hard worker, so thank you for that. We move now to 11.4 administrative inquiries. We have none, John? Thank you, and we have no notices of motion tonight? No correspondence. So I will adjourn the meeting at